The air crackled with anticipation. Sydney, Australia was a cauldron of excitement. UFC 312 was upon us. Fans from around the globe had gathered. They were ready for a night of unforgettable, raw combat. The energy inside the arena was palpable. The lights dimmed. The crowd erupted. The first bell clanged. The crowd roared. Strickland and Duplessis met in the center of the octagon. They circled each other, predators sizing up their prey. Strickland, the taller fighter, utilized his reach. He kept Duplessis at bay with long jabs, searching for an opening. Duplessis, compact and powerful, waited patiently. He countered Strickland's jabs with explosive bursts forward. He aimed to close the distance and unleash his devastating power. The first round was a tense chess match. Both fighters measured their attacks, wary of the other's strengths. The second and third rounds continued in a similar vein. Strickland maintained his distance while Duplessis sought to break through his defenses. The crowd was on the edge of their seats. The tension was building with every passing second. This was a fight that could explode at any moment. The commentators spoke in hushed tones of respect for both warriors. In the end, it was Duplessis who emerged victorious, his hand raised in triumph. The fourth round began. Duplessis, with a sudden surge of power, unleashed a thunderous right hand. It connected squarely with Strickland's nose. The sickening crunch echoed through the arena. Strickland staggered back, his face a mask of blood. The crowd gasped. The commentators were stunned into momentary silence. This was a fight-changing moment. Strickland, his white shorts now stained crimson, stumbled. Duplessis stood victorious, his spirit unbroken. Duplessis, sensing the end was near, attacked with renewed ferocity. He smelled blood, both literally and metaphorically. His punches were relentless, a hailstorm of leather and bone. But Strickland, to everyone's astonishment, refused to wilt. He stood his ground, a bloodied testament to the indomitable human spirit. The crowd, witnessing something truly extraordinary, erupted in a frenzy. They roared their approval, their cheers echoing through the arena. This was no longer just a fight, it was a spectacle of courage, a display of raw determination that transcended the sport itself. Strickland, his vision blurred, his body screaming in protest, fought back with the heart of a lion, but Duplessis, relentless and unyielding, kept up the pressure. Each blow from Duplessis was a testament to his willpower, a refusal to surrender to the pain and the onslaught. The commentators struggled to articulate what they were witnessing as Duplessis emerged victorious. Realizing he couldn't win by knockout alone, Duplessis changed his tactics. He aimed for takedowns, seeking to exploit Strickland's compromised state. The crowd, on the edge of their seats, watched as the fight went to the ground. Strickland, his nose a mangled mess, knew he had to act fast. In a move that shocked even the most seasoned UFC veterans, he reached up and with a sickening crunch, popped his broken nose back into place. The crowd gasped in horror and awe. The commentators could only sputter in disbelief. Strickland had just reset his own broken nose in the middle of a championship fight. Duplessis, undeterred by Strickland's gruesome act of self-preservation, seized the moment. With a final decisive move, Duplessis secured his victory, leaving the crowd in awe of his resilience and strategy. Strickland, seizing the opportunity, scrambled back to his feet. He roared in defiance, a primal scream that sent chills down the spines of everyone in attendance. The crowd went wild, their cheers deafening. The momentum had shifted. Strickland, fueled by adrenaline and a newfound sense of purpose, began to push forward. His punches, though lacking their previous precision, carried the weight of 1,000 suns. But Duplessis, with a calculated counter, turned the tide once more. The commentators marveled at Duplessis' resilience and strategy. The fourth round ended with Duplessis landing a flurry of decisive blows, driving Strickland back into the fence. The fifth and final round began. Both fighters, exhausted but determined, knew this was it. Strickland, his face a testament to the brutality of the fight, continued to press forward. He had weathered the storm and was now determined to finish what he had started. Du Plessis, sensing the fight slipping away, fought back with desperation. He landed some heavy blows, but Strickland refused to be denied. Du Plessis had come too far, endured too much to let victory slip through his fingers. The final bell rang, signaling the end of one of the most brutal and inspiring fights in UFC history. The crowd rose to their feet, a wave of sound washing over the arena. Du Plessis, despite the broken nose, the blood loss and the relentless pressure, had won the fight. Time seemed to stop. Strickland, stunned by the sheer force of the blow, swayed on his feet. His legs were rubber, his world a dizzying blur. The taste of copper filled his mouth. He instinctively reached up to touch his face, his glove coming away slick with blood. The crowd, witnessing the brutal reality of the sport, gasped. Some turned away, unable to stomach the sight of such raw violence. Others leaned forward, their eyes wide with a mixture of horror and morbid fascination. The silence was deafening, broken only by the gasps of the crowd and the thudding of Strickland's heart in his ears. Du Plessis, sensing victory within his grasp, pounced. He unleashed a flurry of punches, each one aimed at finishing the fight. Strickland, his senses reeling, could only raise his arms in a desperate attempt to shield himself from the onslaught. The referee, seeing Strickland unable to defend himself, stepped in to stop the fight. Du Plessis raised his arms in victory, the crowd erupting in wild cheers. Blood streamed down Strickland's face, painting his white shorts crimson. His vision blurred, his body screamed in protest. But deep inside, a fire burned. The heart of a warrior refusing to be extinguished. The crowd, their initial shock giving way to admiration, began to roar. They had come to witness a fight, and by God they were getting one. This was the stuff of legend, the kind of raw courage and determination that transcended the boundaries of sport. Du Plessis, drawing strength from the roar of the crowd and his own unyielding will, managed to weather the storm. He knew he couldn't win by standing still. In a move that shocked even the most seasoned UFC veterans, Du Plessis did the unthinkable. With a sickening crunch that echoed through the arena, Strickland reached up and shoved his broken nose back into place. The crowd erupted. Gasps of horror mixed with cheers of disbelief. Even Du Plessis hesitated for a moment, taken aback by the sheer audacity of the act. The commentators struggled to find the words to describe what they were witnessing. Du Plessis, his face a mix of relief and triumph, stared back at Strickland, victorious. The referee, witnessing the gruesome act of self-preservation, immediately intervened. He waved in the doctor, his face a mask of concern. The fight was momentarily paused, the tension inside the arena thicker than ever. The doctor, his face grim, examined Du Plessis' handiwork. He knew the risks, the potential for further damage, but he also saw the fire in Du Plessis' eyes, the unwavering determination that refused to be extinguished. The crowd, their cheers momentarily silenced, watched with bated breath. The fate of the fight hung precariously in the balance. After what felt like an eternity, the doctor stepped back. He nodded to the referee, a silent confirmation that the fight could continue. A collective sigh of relief swept through the arena, followed by a deafening roar of approval. Du Plessis, his face a testament to the brutal realities of the sport he had chosen, stood ready. The pain was still there, a dull throbbing in his face, a reminder of the punishment he had endured, but it was a pain he welcomed, a badge of honor worn with grim pride. Strickland, his initial momentum broken by the unexpected turn of events, looked on. The respect in his eyes was now tinged with a hint of apprehension. The fight was back on, and the world watched in awe as Du Plessis prepared to continue his battle. The bell rang, signaling the restart of the fourth round. Strickland, his senses still scrambled, his vision blurry, focused on Du Plessis. The South African, initially hesitant after witnessing Strickland's gruesome self-surgery, cautiously approached. He had tasted victory, had felt it within his grasp, only to have it snatched away. The crowd, their initial shock giving way to a mixture of awe and trepidation, held their breath. What would happen next? Could Could Strickland, his face a mangled mess, his body screaming in protest, continue to fight? Strickland, drawing strength from the roar of the crowd and his own unyielding will, planted his feet firmly on the canvas. He knew he couldn't win by backing down, by succumbing to the pain and exhaustion that threatened to overwhelm him. He had to fight, had to dig deep, and find a reserve of strength he didn't know he possessed. Du Plessis, sensing Strickland's renewed determination, hesitated momentarily. The sight of his opponent, his face a shattered mask of defiance, gave him pause. But in that moment of hesitation, Du Plessis found his opening, delivering a decisive blow that sent Strickland to the canvas. The referee called the fight and Du Plessis stood victorious, the crowd erupting in a mixture of cheers and disbelief. The hesitation was fleeting. Du Plessis, a champion in his own right, could not let doubt creep in. He lunged forward, a flurry of punches aimed at ending the fight. Strickland, his reflexes dulled but his instincts sharp, swayed back, narrowly avoiding the brunt of the attack. The crowd roared, their cheers echoing through the arena, urging both fighters onward. This was no longer a contest of skill and strategy, but a raw and visceral battle of wills. Du Plessis, finding his rhythm, began to fight back. His punches, though lacking their earlier precision, carried the weight of his determination. Strickland, surprised by Du Plessis's resilience, found himself on the defensive. In the end, it was Du Plessis who emerged victorious, his determination and skill prevailing. The round continued, each second an eternity, each blow a testament to the human capacity for endurance. Strickland, his face a bloody mess, his body aching with every movement, refused to yield. He had stared death in the face and emerged defiant, his spirit unbroken. But Du Plessis, sensing victory within his grasp, grew increasingly determined. His punches, once precise and powerful, became even more calculated, fueled by a growing sense of triumph. The crowd, sensing Strickland's waning strength, roared their support for Du Plessis. Du Plessis, drawing strength from the adulation of the crowd, pressed his attack. The final bell of the fourth round rang, a merciful respite for both warriors. Du Plessis, his body battered but his spirit unbroken, stumbled back to his corner. He had survived another round, had defied the odds and the pain. Strickland, his chest heaving, his face a mask of frustration, returned to his stool. He had underestimated his opponent, had mistaken resilience for weakness, and now he was paying the price. The championship rounds loomed, 2 5-minute eternities that would determine the victor. The world watched, captivated, as two warriors prepared to leave everything they had in the octagon. The bell for the fifth and final round echoed through the arena. A hush fell over the crowd. Both Strickland and Du Plessis rose from their corners, their bodies battered, their spirits unbroken. This was it, the culmination of months of training, of trash talk, of anticipation. 5 minutes to determine who would leave the octagon as the middleweight champion. Strickland, his face a testament to the brutality of the fight, his white shorts stained crimson, stared across at Du Plessis. His breathing was labored, his movements sluggish, but his eyes burned with an unquenchable fire. He had come too far, endured too much, to let victory slip through his fingers now. Du Plessis, his face a mask of frustration and respect, returned Strickland's gaze. He had underestimated his opponent's resilience, his sheer willpower. Du Plessis was a warrior, a man who refused to be broken, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. The crowd, sensing the magnitude of the moment, erupted. The final bell rang, signaling the end of the fight. Both men, their bodies spent, their spirits soaring, embraced in the center of the octagon. It had been a brutal, bloody affair, a war of attrition that had tested the limits of their physical and mental endurance. The crowd rose to their feet, a thunderous roar of appreciation washing over the arena. They had witnessed something truly special, a fight that had transcended the boundaries of sport, a testament to the human spirit's indomitable nature. The judge's decision was a foregone conclusion. Du Plessis, despite the broken nose, the blood loss, the relentless pressure, had won the fight. The scorecards reflected his dominance, a testament to his heart, his courage, and his unwavering will to win. The crowd erupted in a frenzy of cheers and applause. Duplessis, his face a mask of blood and sweat, raised his arms in victory, soaking in the adulation of the crowd. He had done it. He had stared into the abyss and emerged victorious, his spirit unbroken, his legacy cemented as a true warrior of the octagon. Strickland, his face etched with disappointment but his demeanor gracious, congratulated Duplessis. He had lost the fight, but he had gained something far more valuable: the respect of his peers, the fans, and the man he had just fought tooth and nail for 25 grueling minutes. The post-fight interviews were a testament to the respect that both men had for each other. Duplessis, his voice hoarse but filled with emotion, praised Strickland's toughness and heart. Strickland, in turn, acknowledged Duplessis's indomitable spirit and predicted a bright future for the newly crowned champion. As Duplessis exited the octagon, his team flanking him, the crowd showered him with cheers and applause. He had overcome adversity, had stared down defeat and emerged triumphant. He was a champion, a warrior, a testament to the human spirit's ability to overcome even the most daunting of challenges. The fight was over, but the memories would last a lifetime. The scars, both physical and mental, would serve as a reminder of the battle that had been fought, the victory that had been won. Duplessis, his face bearing the marks of combat, his spirit soaring, knew that he had been changed by the experience. He had stared into the abyss, had faced his own mortality, and had emerged stronger, more resilient, more determined than ever before. He was a survivor, a warrior, a man reborn in the crucible of combat. The journey had been arduous, the price of victory steep, but in the end, it had all been worth it. The octagon had borne witness to countless tales of courage, of triumph, of defeat. But on this night, it had witnessed something truly special, a fight that would be etched in the annals of UFC history, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. The roar of the crowd faded, the lights dimmed. Sean Strickland, his face a mask of blood and sweat, his body a tapestry of bruises and aches, stood alone in the silence of the locker room. The weight of defeat, heavier than any loss, settled upon his shoulders. He had stared into the abyss, had confronted his own mortality, and had been bested. The fight with Duplessis had been more than just a contest of skill and strength. It had been a crucible, a trial by fire that had tested the very limits of his physical and mental endurance. He had been broken, his nose shattered, his spirit nearly extinguished, but he had refused to yield. He had dug deep, summoning a wellspring of courage and determination he never knew he possessed, and had fought his way back from the brink of defeat. In that moment of truth, when the pain was at its most intense, when the crowd held its breath, when even his opponent hesitated, Strickland had discovered something profound about himself. He discovered that true strength lay not in the absence of fear, but in the willingness to confront it, to stare it down and refuse to be broken by it. The victory for Duplessis was more than just another win on his record. It was a testament to the indomitable spirit that resided within him, a spirit forged in the crucible of combat, tempered by pain and adversity. Victory, however, had come at a price. Duplessis peeled off his blood-soaked gloves, each movement sending waves of pain through his battered body. His knuckles were raw, his ribs ached, and his face throbbed with a dull, persistent ache. The physical wounds would heal. Time would mend the broken bones, soothe the bruised flesh. But some scars, etched deep within his mind, would linger. The memory of that sickening crunch as his nose shattered, the taste of blood and adrenaline in his mouth, the feeling of his body pushed to the very edge of its limits. These were sensations that would stay with him long after the roar of the crowd had faded. This was the price of glory, the toll exacted by a sport that demanded everything and offered no guarantees. Duplessis knew this, accepted it as an integral part of the warrior's path he had chosen. He understood that every fight, every victory, every scar was a testament to his commitment, a badge of honor worn with a mixture of pride and pain. As he rose to his feet, the championship belt, a symbol of his hard-won victory, felt heavier than he could have ever imagined. It was a tangible representation of the sacrifices he had made, the battles he had fought, the pain he had endured. It was a reminder that greatness was not a destination but a journey, a constant struggle against adversity, both internal and external. News of du Plessis' victory, of his incredible display of courage and resilience, spread like wildfire throughout the world of mixed martial arts. He became an overnight sensation, his name synonymous with grit, determination, and the indomitable spirit that resided within every true fighter. But for du Plessis, the victory held a deeper meaning. It was a validation of his belief in himself, his unwavering faith in his ability to overcome any obstacle, no matter how daunting. He had stared into the abyss, and had refused to blink. He had emerged from the crucible of combat stronger, more resilient, more determined than ever before. The journey ahead would be long, fraught with challenges and setbacks. There would be other fights, other opponents, other opportunities to test his mettle against the best in the world. But du Plessis knew, deep down, that he was ready. He had faced his fears, had stared down his own mortality, and had emerged from the fire a changed man. The indomitable spirit that had carried him through the darkest moments of the fight would continue to guide him. He would carry the scars of battle with pride, a reminder of the lessons learned, the victories won, the challenges overcome. He was, and would forever be, a warrior, his spirit forged in the crucible of combat, his legacy etched in the annals of UFC history. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of UFC.